Very, very tricky to call these championship playoffs this year. Everyone seems to have a different feeling or hunch about which way it's going to go. Test of nerve, of character, as much as anything else. 45 games ago, they met when all was equal on day one of the season at Upton Park. The slate is clean, all is equal again. Where to go?
That is so very, very close.
Kenny Miller! Tay, he's kept it in here. Collison! Followed in, and Jack Collison gets the opening goal of this tie. Out by Turner. Here's Jack Collison with the volley, and the deflection, and the goal! Welsh international, breaking Welsh hearts. Goal to goal! Turner, just about kept up. That would have killed it off.
The Hammers took a real stranglehold of this playoff semi-final with that 2-0 win in Cardiff on Thursday. And they're now huge favourites to get to Wembley, but they must overcome the Upton Park nerves that cost them their chance of automatic promotion. Well, for Cardiff, they've lost out in the playoffs in the last 2 seasons, and today they're battling against West Ham and history. No side has ever reached the Championship playoff final after losing at home in the first leg. Live from Upton Park, it's West Ham against Cardiff in an end-powered Championship playoff semi-final second leg. And if you're out and about this Bank Holiday Monday, you can watch on your mobile device via Sky Go. Well, on Wednesday night, Blackpool take a 1-0 lead to St Andrews for the second leg of their semi-final against Birmingham. Then on May the 19th, it's all eyes on Wembley for the Championship playoff final, where the richest prize in football awaits the winner, a place in the Premier League. And you can see all the playoff games from all 3 divisions right here on Sky Sports. So West Ham and their fans in exactly the position they wanted to be in, heading into this home leg. But on a day where the sun is at last shining, perhaps anything is possible. Let's find out in the company of your commentators Don Goodman and first Bill Leslie.
Well, Jack Collison was the toast of those fans here in East London after his first leg brace. It would have been hard to leave him out of the side after that, so he starts his first home game in 2 months. West Ham unchanged then. It's the first time since late February that they've done that. Player of the Year Mark Noble will again marshal the midfield. And top scorer Carlton Cole, the man in form, he got both goals in the win against Hull here on the final day of the regular Championship season. Cardiff certainly seemed to miss the attacking thrust of fullback Kevin McNaughton in the first leg, but after a weekend on the treatment table, he's been past fit to start here in one of 2 changes from the first leg. Stephen McPhail returns to the midfield. He's a veteran of those Leeds adventures in the Champions League a decade ago now, and a player who should be able to provide service to Kenny Miller, the man who got the winner here all the way back on day 1 of the season. On-loan Arsenal midfielder Henry Lansbury returns to the bench for West Ham after he got a rest in the first leg. Don Cowie's been struggling a little with a knock. He picked up in the match on Thursday, but fit enough to take his place among the Cardiff substitutes. So 2-0, a commanding lead, Don, but at the same time a fragile lead. There'll be a lot of people looking on in South Wales wondering how their side go about this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They've left themselves a bit of a mountain to climb, but it's not insurmountable. You know, they're going to need to, I think, keep a clean sheet here. They're going to need to put on a top performance. They're going to need a little bit of luck. And when they get the chances, they're going to have to be ruthless. And they're going to have to take those chances. But I've seen stranger things happen in football.
Well, that 2-0 scoreline, we saw it yesterday, didn't we, at Sam Allardyce's former club, Bolton, 2-0 up at home with 15 minutes to play. They let that one go and ended up drawing 2-2. But how much did that defeat psychologically take out of Cardiff? We shall see. West Ham, 90 minutes from Wembley. No West Ham side has been there since Billy Bonds led them out in 1981 for the League Cup final against Liverpool. Needed a replay. Eventually Liverpool prevailed then. Cardiff 2-0 down at half-time, as we've heard from Malky Mackay, giving nothing away yet, and rightly so. They feel that they didn't give a good account of themselves in the first leg at home, and over recent months they have saved their best for their travels. quite under the lights here at Upton Park, but it's certainly electric. It's sold out, it's expectant, and it's a semi-final that belongs to West Ham with 90 minutes to play here. Can Cardiff save their season? We'll find out when we come back.
There is nothing quite like the drama of the playoffs, and Sam analyses West Ham in exactly the position they wanted to be heading into this game. They're 2-0. It's all to do for Malky Mackay as he tries to lead Cardiff back into the top flight for the first time in 50 years. They're hoping, is there going to be a twist in this match, or are the Hammers heading to Wembley next Saturday? Let's find out. It's West Ham against Cardiff City in the second leg of this Championship playoff semi-final. Your commentators, Don Goodman and First Bill Leslie.
Well, much has been made this season, hasn't it, about the nervousness within the West Ham crowd and how Cardiff will look to exploit that. It's certainly not in evidence here. A packed house, fully behind their side, who are fully in control of this tie. But we are at half-time. No away goal rule in the playoffs, no margin for error, no second chance for second best. One of these two clubs will be packing their bags for their summer holidays after this. The other one, they will be preparing for a massive day out on May the 19th at Wembley.
They will. Big games. And the big game last Thursday. The big performances came from his players, didn't they? Cardiff City really desperately need their key players to put in big performances here this afternoon.
The opening exchanges in this match, absolutely pivotal. I think almost everyone agrees. If the next goal is a West Ham goal, you really struggle to see the Cardiff side, who have been in reasonable form towards the end of the season, but they haven't been that free scoring. You struggle to see a way for them to come back from 3-0 down. Vazte in there. An element of panic as Turner stuck out a leg, and there's Marshall.
Well, they'll be in a hurry. They don't want to be in too much of a hurry, Cardiff. David Marshall has just literally given West Ham the ball back. That is not what his manager will want from him.
A few on Cardiff City supporters who are unhappy about the way that Kenny Miller was deployed in a deeper lying role than Joe Mason. What do you make of the changes that Malky Mackay has made, particularly the introduction of Stephen McPhail?
Well, I think what he saw last Thursday, Malky Mackay, was his team just give the ball away constantly. Their passing was off, and they were lacking energy. And Stephen McPhail's introduction, clearly with the emphasis on retaining possession.
Taylor goes long. Hudson underneath it. McNaughton, who has had one of the best seasons of his career. The 29-year-old, the Silver Fox, down the right for Cardiff City. Vazte, Taylor. Hudson seemingly has control of the situation. Nolan got in there. The Cardiff captain can clear. Maybe something strange is in the air. Sunshine on a bank holiday Monday here over East London.
And it's rained all the way down here from the Midlands, so they've got to need the shades. Not many of them brought them out.
And the future does indeed seem bright for West Ham, a lot brighter than it did to a disappointment of missing out on automatic promotion. I think probably what will stand them in good stead, and certainly seemed to in the first leg, is that they've had plenty of time to adjust to the fact that they looked like they were going to miss out. Carlton Cole.
Well, that's what impressed me the most on Thursday, was the fact that they clearly got over the disappointment of not getting automatically promoted, and this fella was right in the thick of it. Even though we felt he was running at 75% on Thursday, still a handful.
And he's hit the goal trail just at the right time. A little too late to see them surge above Reading and Southampton. Already planning for the Premier League. And not too late for the playoffs.
The big question for me is, can Cardiff shake off their disappointment? Really disappointing in the home leg. They've got to forget about it. They've got to be mentally strong.
And physically. Turner does that part of the brief and clears away the former Coventry City defender.
Well, they can take heart, you know, Cardiff, when you look at the face of it. West Ham have only had 1 clean sheet in the last 7 games here, and teams like Reading have come and scored 4. We saw Birmingham put 3 past West Ham here. So while it's a large task, it's not an impossible task.
You combine that side of the equation with the fact you've got to keep West Ham out, and they usually score, even though they have done too much of usually drawing here. That's been the problem. Nolan, advantage will be played. Kenny Miller might just be able to take it, and it scoots away from him.
Well, that's better, isn't it? And that's where Cardiff fans will want to see Kenny Miller, because he is an intelligent footballer. Watch his position here. Gets himself back on side, pulls on the shoulder of Winston Reid, and the ball just a fraction over hit. But that's a positive. That will give them a little bit of encouragement.
The playoff throws together some unlikely bedfellows. Look at that, Brooking and Brand. Not the front pairing you would have seen in years gone by for West Ham, but now they are at the front of the stand here. Brentwood and Hollywood. Gunnarsson. Versteg gets the touch. O'Neill. Nolan. Demel has a little bit of space. Collison. Excellent work from Collison, looking to be provider on this occasion. Rather than scorer as he was twice so clinically in that first leg. Reed's towering over Kenny Miller. Noble. Cole against Turner. This time Carlton Cole wins the initial battle, but Turner wins the war.
It's West Ham. I'm looking at West Ham and I'm looking at their shape. I'm looking for a balance. You know, they know that they've got so much capability of scoring goals, but by the same token, they have to be very disciplined and make sure that Cardiff City can't get that all-important first goal.
We often hear about the importance of momentum coming into the playoffs, but it's equally important within a 2-legged semi-final. West Ham earned it, and earned it with an excellent and professional away performance, capitalising on the fact that Cardiff were off colour on Thursday night. It would be a surprise if, although they're away from home, Cardiff afforded them that luxury here again this afternoon. Miller. McPhail. Taylor. Up towards Gunnarsson. Reid was there. The flag's up on this near side anyway.
Well, it's noticeable, though, isn't it, that every time Cardiff get the ball out wide, you've got Gunnarsson, central midfielder, getting into the area where he can score. He's just half a yard offside. Fractions. You've got Liam Lawrence getting in there. Kenny Miller's in there. So they are committing bodies to the cause, just as they have to, if they want to get themselves back in this tight.
Cardiff are one of 4 sides this season who have come to Upton Park and won. Ipswich did it in September, Burnley in December, but they just won by the odd goal. That won't do for Cardiff here. The only side who won by more than 1 goal were Reading, and they're at the peak of their momentum towards promotion. And West Ham ahead in that game as well before they surrendered. Reid.
That's good refereeing from Mike Dean. He waited and waited as long as he possibly could to see whether West Ham would get an advantage. Pulled it back, rightly so.
Well, we're in the 9th minute. By this stage of the last playoff match at this level he took charge of, he'd already shown a red card. That was in the goalless draw between Swansea and Nottingham Forest in the first leg, the City ground last season. Neil Taylor, the recipient.
Didn't give Mike Dean any choice, did he? A rash challenge.
Tompkins. O'Neill. DeMel. Plenty of claret and blue in the middle. Hudson did really well. Dug it out and got it well away.
And that's excellent on both fronts. Fantastic ball in. Really top-class defending from Mark Hudson.
And noticeably, plenty of West Ham players getting forward into the box. Loose touch from Tompkins. Whittingham. Kenny Miller. Winston Reid with the challenge.
Well, he's asking. He's got his hands on his head. Did Winston Reid get anything on the ball here? It's Kenny Miller's touch and then nudges Miller. Reid's foot goes over the ball. There is a little bit of contact, it's to be said, but not decisive enough for Mike Dean to award a penalty for that.
You can see why Kenny Miller felt there was a case there.
Absolutely.
It seemed to be played before the ball was. Gunnarsson's long throw. On by Hudson. The first effort on goal from Cardiff is pretty comfortable for Green to claim.
I think already they've done better in the opening 10 minutes than they did on their own ground, Cardiff. But here is again, Winston Reid's foot goes over the ball and then it catches Kenny Miller's right foot. You know what, by the letter of the law, that is a penalty. And Kenny Miller cannot believe it. I'm not sure, though, from where Mike Dean was, that he got a real good view of that contact.
Whittingham closed down by Nolan. DeMel. Nolan's burst forward. Carlton Cole waits in the middle. Nolan goes deep. Norton's missed it. Vastey, who set up the opening goal for Collison in the first leg, feeds. Taylor, and it's well away by Cardiff in the end.
It was a bit of a panicked clearance, wasn't it? Because he had a bit more time, Peter Whittingham, but he needs information from his teammates to tell him that he's got the time to bring that down.
Carlton Cole penalised that.
Well, he's not a referee that is frightened to make decisions, but there's his view. We can see where Mike Dean is coming from here. And, well, I think he's obscured. I think Mark Noble's in the way, possibly Joe Mason, and that is why Mike Dean can't give that. Never saw it.
Hudson. Collison steals it away, but play is halted. Both managers had their hands up in the air there, appealing for the decision. It is a Cardiff one. And after early euphoria, tension is starting to descend here on Upton Park.
I think Cardiff have started this game really well, I have to say. Kenny Miller's movement has been clever. They seem to have a little bit more energy about them than they did the other evening.
And Norton takes. It's a decent leap by Hudson. Well, he warned against his side coming here and going gung-ho. You know that this is a West Ham side that has scored in every game, home and away, since February, when Palace came here and came away with a goalless draw. The only time in 25 league matches that West Ham have failed to score. You can tag the first leg of the playoff onto that as well.
Done well away from home, haven't they, at the back end of the season, Cardiff City. 3 wins on the trot, very impressive.
And coming from behind at Crystal Palace as well as Taylor's cross. Noble. The Ivory Coast fullback DeMel. For West Ham's top scorer, Carlton Cole. 3 in the middle for West Ham. Taylor recovered well. Noble. Collison. He's got McPhail with him, and he's come. McPhail took the block from Whittingham to put it behind for a West Ham corner.
He's a player who's high on confidence, isn't he? It's disappointing, actually, that he allowed the defender to get the block in on the cross, but lovely little bit of skill out there to work the space.
Kevin Nolan takes up his customary position in front of the goalkeeper. And it's fizzed right into the mix. And touched in by Kevin Nolan. What of an hour played. And West Ham take an icy grip on this playoff.
Well, I have to tell you, Matt Taylor deserves a lot of credit. And I think his teammates are now acknowledging that, because this is fizzed in unbelievably. Lots of pace on the corner. Cardiff simply cannot deal with it. It's very accurate, and it's an easy one for Kevin Nolan. How often have we seen him stand on goalkeepers and end up with tap-ins like that? He's not going to miss, but that all comes from the quality of that delivery from Matt Taylor. Absolutely wonderful, and it is a massive, massive task for Cardiff City to get back in this now.
A second leg in which the first goal was always going to be vital. The first goal is Kevin Nolan's. It's West Ham's. 3-0 the aggregate lead.
Well, that's lifted the tension, hasn't it? Because Cardiff had started well. It looked the more likely, really. David Marshall untroubled in the Cardiff goal until that moment. But West Ham, we thought they were always going to score. It was a question of could Cardiff get in there before them? The answer is no.
Taylor's cross. Liam Lawrence was across there, but headed away by Collison. Every manager goes on about getting the basics right, don't they, Don? First corner of the match. First one that Cardiff had to defend, and they couldn't get it right.
I have to say the quality of the ball in was terrific, really terrific.
Collison. The clip from Collison to O'Neill. All off the crossbar.
Well, it came to Gary O'Neill in a really, really awkward place. And it wasn't behind him, it wasn't in front of him, it was in the middle of his body, and he does really well to adjust his feet. He was trying to loop that into the far corner and into the corner of the net, and he just his fractions out. A lovely piece of skill. And they thought he'd done it, didn't they? And so did he.
Where before there was caution, now there's confidence. It can be an awkward place for West Ham when things aren't going their way. It can be a pretty intimidating place for opponents when they are.
They're in full voice now, that is for sure. And they were before kick-off, to be fair to them. They believed in their team.
Whipped in well by Whittingham, but defended even better by Reed. Here's Lawrence. Joe Mason's got him behind here. That's the cutback out by Nolan.
Yeah, that's the difference. What a chance that is. There are so many white shirts in the penalty area for Joe Mason to pick out. He hit the first man. That is the difference between these two teams. How ruthless they've been in the final third of the pitch at times, or not.
Emerson's long throw. Tompkins let him meet it. And Noble. Now Carlton Cole up against McNaughton. There's still a long time to play here, Don, but does this change the Cardiff approach?
Well, they'll probably have to take a few more risks than they would have wanted to. That's the only difference. They were trying to be conservative but attacking at the same time, Cardiff City, but now it's a massive ask, isn't it? And they really need to get on the score sheet very, very soon, just to give themselves any remote hope, really.
What remote hope there is. And that's put on the line by maybe going a little bit gung-ho. Lawrence couldn't keep it in.
He was not happy. Thought he got a deflection there. As I say, decision-making and execution in the final third is what it's all about. Look at the white shirts. Far post, Gunnarsson. Can they find him? Completely unmarked. You can see Joe Mason just wants to help it into an area. If he'd have lifted his head up, he may have been better standing that up to the far post.
Here's Demel. Lovely ball for Carlton Cole. McPhail takes a chance, just stabs it away to Lawrence.
It's that diagonal ball again. Carlton Cole pulling on the shoulder of the last defender, knocking it down into a really good area. One of his teammates up with him though.
Andrew Taylor. Too high for Kenny Miller. Pass away by Reed. Lawrence. Demel, they'll get it clear this time for West Ham. And Collison launches it on its way. Taylor.
It's very stretched, as it has to be really from the Cardiff perspective. Gambling. The distance between the back and the front is great. And West Ham, energy to burn. They look fit, they look strong. They look like they've got the legs to exploit Cardiff on the counter-attack as the Welshmen push forward in search of that elusive goal.
Norton for Miller. Lawrence. Andrew Taylor. McPhail. Whittingham.
Well, they are getting in some good areas, Cardiff City. 20 minutes in. They had the penalty claim, but again, Rob Green not really had anything to do. Just the one shot, same as West Ham, but there's found the back of the net when they got it on the target.
Noble. And some time does leap well. McNaughton. And Lawrence.
Through his career, this fella Kevin Nolan has been a scorer of important goals, and this simplicity itself, that it could be right up there with most important ones. Cardiff City just do not deal with it, and there's the man who put in the perfect corner.
Those Cardiff City hopes that they might be able to tap into any nervousness around the place. They have long since departed for the moment anyway. West Ham's habit of surrendering points at home this season. They dropped 28, 14 of those from winning positions. It appears to be somewhat irrelevant just at the moment.
They look comfortable. Like I say, ironically, it's been a better performance from Cardiff. But again, the noticeable thing is that just little lack of a cutting edge on the top of the pitch. And they have found goals fairly hard to come by. I think they've only scored 12 in their last 11 games.
Vazte, whose flurry of goals has just seem to have had a little bit of a bump in the road at the moment. He hasn't scored in his last 4 since that excellent hat-trick here against Brighton, and that 6-0 win.
You can see he's keen. He gets himself in good areas, hurdles the challenge there. And he's not frightened of pulling the trigger, Ricardo Vazte. He's well off target with that.
10 goals in 16 games, not a bad return, is it, for a January arrival?
How to get the fans on your side, eh?
Mason, his performances for Cardiff this season since he moved from Plymouth have certainly done that. A Wembley scorer. For the moment, he's not going to get a chance to do that again, nor his Cardiff teammates. Beaten on penalties at the National Stadium in the Carling Cup final. O'Neill. Another one of those angle balls. This time it doesn't find its target. Well, the old boys have come out of the woodwork for this one. A couple of Tonys there, Tony Gale and Tony Cottee.
He thought about it, didn't he? The assistant, you could see him wavering. Is he going to put his flag up, or is he not? It's a lovely pass from Whittingham. As that's released there, well, that's why he wavered and deliberated about it, because it was very tight.
Couldn't quite keep it in Colton Cole. Well, if West Ham are heading one way, RQPR heading the other. Big win for them yesterday with that late Cisse goal across town at Loftus Road. Slightly tricky trip on the final day of the season, though. One of the live matches we have for you in the City of Manchester Stadium, the Etihad. Lawrence for Miller. Tompkins just about got enough on it.
Yeah.
It was the angle really that did for Kenny Miller.
It was. I'm not sure James Tompkins intended to head that ball there. Certainly got away with one.
Well, the West Ham fans making their way here, and those of you watching at home would have had your fears about what may have happened here and your hopes about how it would go. It's confident and comfortable just at the moment. A 2-0 lead might be awkward. A 3-0 aggregate lead. West Ham in the comfort zone just now. Cardiff in the twilight zone.
One thing as well, I thought Cardiff were lacking was a bit of energy the other night. Now they're losing their discipline, they're getting a bit frustrated. Clearly something he said.
I would assume it was for something he's said to Mike Dean, Kenny Miller.
Well, I bet you now in the back of his mind there's looking back on that penalty incident that we saw clearly that Mike Dean didn't. How big a moment could that have proved?
Nolan adjudged to have been holding on there to Kevin McNaughton. But it's the West Ham man who's smiling. It's he who's got the goal. We approach the half-an-hour mark.
He'll be relieved as well, won't he? Had a great chance to make it 3-0 in Cardiff with a header. Seems a long time ago now.
coming into the game that Championship playoff history was against Cardiff. No side has ever done what they needed to do, still need to do, and that's overturn a deficit of any sorts. And that task has got stiff out because of the West Ham lead. And they show no mood to surrender any sort of territory. And they look to build on their advantage. Demel fires it low, off Turner, behind for another corner.
Well, they look in the mood. West Ham still working really hard. You know, they get this opportunity because they're closing down, wanting the ball back around about the halfway line. Then they flood bodies forward. It's the right back on the dead ball line, trying to cross the ball. So no sign of them taking their foot off the pedal here, West Ham.
And this is a carbon copy of the situation that led to the West Ham opening goal. A little deeper this time. Tompkins the target at the far post. It's going to be a chance for Cardiff to clear.
It's the pace and the curl on these corners, troubling Cardiff's defenders and goalkeeper. And we have seen him at the end of the season whip in some fantastic crosses in both open play and from set pieces.
And we can confirm for you that the reason for that Kenny Miller booking was dissent. Gunnarsson, Mason, Lawrence. Graham comes, and that's a good claim. Gunnarsson was the intended target. Turner and Taylor got in a little bit of a mix-up, but it's not a costly one. Mason. And by McPhail. McNaughton. On their last visit to the capital on the final day of the season, Cardiff went 1-0 down and managed to overturn it. And 1-2-1, that won't do them here, of course. They need something, though, a spark, some route back into this tie, because West Ham are really being able to coast at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, there were spells in the first leg where they were able to do the same thing.
O'Neill. Norton.
That's good covering. And Kevin McNaughton. That's something that didn't happen for West Ham's first goal the other evening.
Demel. And Cardiff sending up the centre halves for this one. Ben Turner and Mark Hudson. Winston Reid was the centre half who got the telling touch. Now McNaughton, plenty have stayed forward here. Hudson's knocked down, eludes Miller. McNaughton. West Ham hustled it back. Vazte. O'Neill screaming for it, getting it! Drawing a fine save from Marshall.
Well, that is a fine save. He was called into action. One or two decent saves in Cardiff, but this is up there. Vazte in acres of space. And so too is Mark Noble. That is a really It's O'Neill, actually, isn't it? O'Neill's trying to curl that into the far corner, and Marshall gets a good look at it.
Marshall claws it away. It's back at the feet of Gary O'Neill. Mason, it's an isolated figure. It's the right back McNaughton who's offering support down the left. Mason's done well. McNaughton.
Look how many West Ham shirts back, though. Really are working hard, even though they've got their lead. And actually, since the goal, Cardiff City haven't had an attempt in anger to try and get themselves back into this game.
Passed in by Gunnarsson, Tompkins, and Cardiff have a corner.
Maybe a set piece will offer them the best and most likely route back into this game.
Lawrence, the right footer, will take it from the left for Cardiff. Got Whittingham hanging just outside the penalty area. He's been spotted by Collison now. Carlton Cole at the near post. There's a bit of pushing and shoving in there anyway that Mike Dean had spotted.
He sees this all the way, doesn't he, David Marshall? It's curling away from him. He's got to move his feet well. It's a good spring and a good palm away. Terrific effort, a terrific save.
Tompkins. Hudson felt he needed to take the touch. It's a relatively effective one as well. McPhail. There's just no time on the ball at all for Cardiff when they're in possession. O'Neill pressing. And now found a way through to Gunnarsson. Miller offside.
Nothing's going right for Cardiff City. At the moment, they do look a little bit flat, really, in terms of getting themselves back in this tight. It's an energy sapper when the team against you score first and give themselves a 3-goal cushion.
And even since the start on of the first leg, there's been a physicality about West Ham that Cardiff has struggled to live with.
Absolutely. There's no shortage of energy there. They just look fitter and stronger. It has been a long, hard campaign for Cardiff City. Smaller squad, lots of games.
And Malky Mackay in his press conference in the build-up to this game was talking about the need for a comeback. He cited Liverpool and Istanbul. And now the target that they need in the final throes of this tie is exactly that, to come back from 3 down from somewhere.
The problem for Cardiff is they haven't been given any encouragement at all by West Ham. They look disciplined, they look strong defensively, closing down really quickly in the midfield areas, and they look a threat going forward.
Even the goalkeeper's not getting any time on the ball. Even Nolan leading the charge. Hudson. Nolan stayed forward, looking to capitalise on exactly that sort of situation. He's forced the error. No wonder there's a frustrated shrug from Malky Mackay. Floats it forward. Carlton Cole might get that. Can't be a comfortable sight for a goalkeeper when you see Carlton Cole bearing down at full tilt.
I suggest you get your knee up.
The passing football from West Ham, applaud it. Azte. 39th minute of the match, and the Olays are ringing round Upton Park. Tells you everything you need to know about the position that West Ham are in. Demel. And he's coming forward thinking of having a shot. 2.5 years without a goal, the Ivorian fullback.
This is where they need to spring at pace, Cardiff. They've got a lone striker trying to make a run, and if the ball's not perfect, they give it back to West Ham. And that's where that lack of energy comes. If you've got a team that have got energy, just to get out really quickly and offer options to the player on the ball, doesn't have to make life much easier. And that's not happening at the moment for Cardiff.
Vaztey. O'Neill. Ricardo Vaztey is in, and blasts a beauty for West Ham. Think we can say it now, can't we? West Ham are going to Wembley.
Oh, okay, Sarah. They certainly are. And he's been due a goal, hasn't he? And I'll tell you what, it's a good job he finds the net here, because Jack Collison, you watch at Jack Collison's position here, it's poor defending, but Collison's there for a cutback and a tap-in, but Vaztey has got the blinkers on. He wants to get back on the goals trail, and he's done precisely that with an absolute rocket into the far corner. That is probably past David Marshall before he can do anything about it. It's an absolute bullet of a strike, and it is all over. There's only going to be more and more and more frustration, but not for them. Just joy.
Well, for all the agony they've had here this season, West Ham United, you sense they're going to have 45 minutes of pure enjoyment. Job has been done. 2 goals in South Wales, 2 goals in the first half here in East London.
Again, good refereeing. Mike Dean trying to give Cardiff an advantage. And Sam Allardyce saying, now don't switch off now. We're all but there. He wants full focus, full discipline from his team, but that doesn't look good. This is what he's not happy about. Well, he seems to jump in to Kevin McNaughton.
It's a painful one nonetheless.
Yeah, it is.
He's got to go and stand in the wall now as well. Let's see if Peter Whittingham has a cruel streak. Cardiff certainly haven't in this match so far. Whittingham.
Sums them up, really. He just wants them to be proud, you know, and to see this out. It's been a terrific season, no matter what happens here this afternoon. They've been to Wembley, they've had a Carling Cup final, got themselves into the playoffs, probably unexpectedly when you consider all the big names that left Cardiff City last summer. So it has been a good season. There's lots of optimism for the future. And what they don't want is to go down really badly here.
Vaztey, he's up and running again. He's tricky. McNaughton does well. Collison. There's no danger of a claret and blue avalanche here. Carlton Cole at the far post.
I think Malcolm Mackay will just want to get his team back into the sanctuary of the dressing room. And just calm them down a little bit. Send them out for a second half, just to have a go, salvage a bit of pride.
There can be nothing more frustrating as a manager when your side have been pretty much playing above themselves, above the parts or the individual parts of the team. And, you know, as you mentioned, on getting to the Carling Cup final, but in the playoffs they haven't been themselves. They weren't in the first leg, and they haven't been allowed to be in this second leg.
You have to give West Ham United an awful lot of credit for that as well. It isn't just that Cardiff City haven't hit the heights, they haven't been allowed to.
Collison, Vaz-Tei. He's trying to get it through to Carlton Cole and trips over the ball. Whittingham. Gunnarsson. Good run from Mason here.
Himself into a shooting position and refused to pull the trigger.
Whittingham. Noble. 2 added minutes. Nolan got the first of the 2 West Ham goals. Wooden stick for Kenny Miller. There's O'Neill.
Thing that West Ham United are doing over the course of these 2 legs, aside from getting themselves to Wembley, is they're sending out a statement of intent to whoever it may be, Birmingham, Blackpool. Real statement of intent. This is what you're going to have to beat if you want to get yourself to the Premier League.
Up by McNaughton. Taylor off Demel. Now, they came into these playoffs as favourites. They came into the season as many people's favourites for automatic promotion. And they are certainly justifying the tag in these 2 legs. They look battle-ready, battle-hardened, sharp, and in ruthless form as well. All qualities that stand you in good stead for the rigours of the playoffs. Vaz-Tei. He's certainly got the beating of McPhail for pace. Collison. It's another plus for West Ham, isn't it, to have Ricardo Vaz-Tei get his first goal in 5 games.
It's all been positives.
Well, it's not often at half-time at Upton Park this season that they've been able to take to their feet the home supporters and just breathe in the pure air of enjoyment. They've done exactly what they needed to do in the first half to book a place on May the 19th at Wembley. 2 goals to add to the 2 from the first leg. The first from Kevin Nolan, the second from Ricardo Vaz-Tei. It's 2-0 in the tie this afternoon. It is 4-0, a daunting 4-0 on aggregate.
Yes, at times this season, Upton Park has been a nervous and jittery place for the players and the fans. Not a bit of it today. That's been an emphatic first half from the home side. The Reading captain, Joby McAnuff, Dean Ashton alongside me. We'll hear from them when we come back. But for once this season, the Hammers are happy at home. They've all booked their place at Wembley next week. Is Blackburn stay in the Premier League about to end? We could find out tonight in the Monday Night Football from 7 Sky Sports 1 HD. Blackburn against Wigan. And then tomorrow, it's a repeat of Saturday's FA Cup final, this time at Anfield. It's Liverpool-Chelsea, 7:30, Sky Sports 1 HD. But here at Upton Park this Bank Holiday Monday, the Hammers are 45 minutes from Wembley.
It's fizzed right into the mix. And touched in by Kevin Nolan. Ricardo Vaz-Tei is in, and blast! A beauty for West Ham! Think we can say it now, can't we? West Ham
Has been a terrific half from West Ham. 4-0 they lead on aggregate. I mean, the Cardiff players, Joby, have been out here for a good 5 minutes. They've been sent out early. What's this next half about for them? Is it simply pride?
Yeah, I think so. It's just, you know, trying to get something out of the game in terms of, you know, getting a goal back and see where it takes you, really. It's obviously going to be an uphill struggle from here, and, you know, it's a bit of pride and a bit of fight, really, because, you know, otherwise the season's over.
And in terms of the final now for West Ham, will we start to see Sam Allardyce making changes throughout the half to protect his key players?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he'll want all his best players fit for the final, which I'm sure they're going to get there now. So, yeah, he'll be looking to change a few players if he hasn't already, and you know, more of the same really, and go out and enjoy the second half, because you know, to get themselves in this position so early is great.
There's not been too much for the Cardiff fans to laugh about, but Kenny Miller still with a smile on his face. What a half that was from Kevin Nolan. What a half from West Ham. Let's rejoin our commentators for the second half, Don Goodman and Bill Leslie.
Well, certainly most of the supporters here feel that the job is done. That 4-0 aggregate lead. All sorts of record books would have to be torn up if Cardiff were to overturn this in the remaining 45 minutes of the semi-final tie, or even be able to take it to extra time, which is what we would have if the scores finish level. Slightly wishful thinking from a Cardiff perspective at the moment. You look back on the season they've had, they've only scored 4 goals or more twice. Once came in the Carling Cup against League One Huddersfield. The other came in an 8-goal thriller against Barnsley. Just can't see anyway the way this tie has gone, both back in South Wales on Thursday, Don, and the first half here, that this turnaround can happen.
No, West Ham have completely outclassed Malky Mackay's boys, and I've written 2 things on my bit of paper here. Next to Cardiff, I've written pride. Next to West Ham, avoid red cards and be disciplined.
And even when gifts are given, they need to be taken, and it's been close margins at times throughout this tie for Cardiff. When they've got into good positions, there just hasn't been the clinical edge that they've had at times this season. Collison landed rather heavily there on his shoulder, I think, under the fair challenge, it has to be said, but firm challenge from Turner.
Well, it's just aggressive, isn't it? And he lands awkwardly. No malice from Ben Turner. He's the centre-half. That's the way they should have been tackling all through these 2 ties. Suspensions and injuries will be his fear now.
And Jack Collison, who really has had a contribution to make, that winner up at Leicester, and the 2 in the first leg at the Cardiff City Stadium, means it's his best ever scoring season. And after a host of injuries over recent seasons, on a personal level, you hope this isn't a serious one. And Sam Allardyce, given the form of that young man, the Welsh international, of course, we'll hope that this isn't terminal for this game, and indeed beyond.
Look at his face. Maybe serious. There's no point in taking risks. That's the first thing.
Azte. Tompkins. O'Neill finding space, but he's offside. Well, Henry Lansbury's got his strip on. He's going to come on now. And the way he's carrying that right arm, I do fear for Jack Collison. We'll bring you an update as soon as we have it.
I just hope and pray for him that it's not serious enough to keep him out of the Wembley final.
And that was a crunching challenge from Matt Taylor. He didn't like it though, did he, Mike Dean? So he's given the free kick Cardiff's way. West Ham make the change. On comes Henry Lansbury. He's had a strong finish to the season himself. Played a part after he was initially brought in from Arsenal. Turner. Too much on it for Miller. He'll just skip away. Carlton Cole dispossessed. The surge is from Nolan. Recovery from Hudson. Whittingham. Taylor. McPhail. McNaughton. Tay trying to spin away. He was brought down by Hudson. And so we're going to see a flash of Mike Dean's yellow card here.
Again, he's rolling around, Ricardo Tay. And the worry is, for West Ham, he's okay, first and foremost. Couldn't have expected anything less. Tay's left him, he's nowhere near the ball. That's a really rash challenge and very, very cynical. They've got to keep the discipline as well, Cardiff.
It's two bookings, Kenny Miller and Mark Hudson. Tompkins. O'Neill. Noble. Whittingham. McPhail. Closed down by Gary O'Neill.
Brilliant. Again, really epitomises how they've been. I mean, they really have looked the part at the end of this season. They were absolutely terrific at Leicester. They beat Hull City very comfortably here. And away in Cardiff in the first leg, they were outstanding. They're on the road to matching that here this afternoon.
And everything is falling into place as far as West Ham are concerned, just as it's falling worryingly apart for Cardiff City. A couple of games too far from them. This is game number 57 of the season. They've got a limited squad compared to their hosts here, limited resources. Rebuilding job had to be done on those resources throughout the season. So many departures from the team that contested the playoff last season. And as I think you said before, Don, it's a testament to the job that Malky Mackay has done, just the fact that they are here.
Absolutely. He's done an outstanding job. A lot to reflect on and be proud of. I won't feel like doing that today, I'm sure, but in the cold light of day, everybody connected with Cardiff City look back. They should be very proud of the season they've had.
Lansbury thought he was going to be allowed to get away with what was judged to be a handball. McPhail. McNaughton. Taylor's going to be penalised there.
It's a chance for the two big central defenders to go forward for Cardiff. Like I say, looking to try and salvage some pride. The goal would really lift their spirits.
Would not alter the outcome. Whittingham, it's an excellent delivery that West Ham deal with at the expense of a corner.
Oh, just for a second, I thought Kenny Miller was on the end of that, nodding it into the net. It's good defending.
And this is the corner from which West Ham capitalised. Kevin Nolan opening the scoring on the afternoon for the Hammers. Goes deep, both centre-halves are across that. First to the loose ball is Taylor. There's a towering header from him. And Norton's last man back. That's Nolan's header. And up by Lansbury.
First real piece of exerted Cardiff pressure.
It did bounce back up off the arm of Gunnarsson. And we could have done anything about it. And goes Lansbury. And we can go down to the dugout area where Patrick Davison has some news of the Jack Collison injury. Patrick.
Yeah, I've just had a word with the West Ham club doctor, Sean Howlett, and Jack Collison's shoulder popped out. It popped back in again of its own accord, and he's now on his way to hospital just as a precaution.
Thanks very much, Pat. Reed. West Ham were braced for an early storm from Cardiff at the start of this second half. That hasn't materialised.
They're still very much in the comfort zone, aren't they? West Ham United, and still we await Robert Green in the West Ham goal. His first test, really.
In terms of striking options for Cardiff throughout the time, it's been limited due to the injury to Rudy Gested. And Rob Earnshaw on the bench. Here's Guy Demel. Nolan. He's too close to Marshall. This from Taylor. He's won the free kick as well. Whittingham takes it quickly. Lawrence. McNaughton on the overlap. Miller the man in the middle. Not Green the man to claim it though.
It's comfortable. He won't mind having a quiet afternoon, will he? Robert Green.
After a mixed season in terms of clean sheets, to get back-to-back clean sheets home and away in playoff semi-finals, it's good for the confidence at the other end, isn't it? Strikers in good touch. Everything, as we've said already, just slotting into place nicely as far as West Ham are concerned. Mason, done by Noble. Well, speaking of former West Ham players who are here today, another one has a particular interest. Chris Hughton, who was a player here back in the early 90s. Part of that West Ham side that got to the FA Cup semi-final, beaten by Nottingham Forest, will have a keener interest than most on this one. Here's Birmingham City side bidding to overturn that one-goal deficit against Blackpool.
If this playoff tie has been a little bit one-sided, certainly everything to play for in that one.
Whittingham. There's O'Neill. Vastey. addition to the atmosphere being made by the Cardiff fans at the moment, even though the task may be beyond the man out there, Norton. Cardiff City side who've been to Wembley more than most since its rebuilding. Like they're going to have to yield this particular ticket to West Ham United, who haven't been there since the days of Billy Bonds back in 1981. 1-1 League Cup final draw against Liverpool, and then lost the replay at Villa Park 2-1.
Finding it incredibly difficult, aren't they, Cardiff, to break West Ham down. We've seen a little bit more of the ball in the opening 15 minutes of this second period. Not really able to make any inroads so far.
We've played a quarter of an hour of this second half. No attempts by either side as yet. Not the usual hurly-burly of a playoff semi-final second leg. West Ham have seen to it that that's not the order of the day. They hadn't taken it away from Cardiff in the first leg. They did very quickly in this second. Tompkins. Closing down.
Just got a little bit sloppy with their own passing, West Ham. I can understand it. It's very hard not to coast when you're in such a commanding lead.
We've still got the best part of half an hour to play here, Don, but is it going to be in those West Ham players' minds that they don't want to pick up an injury with the Wembley date just around the corner?
You have to have a little thought on that. I've already seen one of their teammates, haven't they? Jack Collison taken off that shoulder injury. He may be unlucky, and that will be playing on other players' minds, and Sam Allardyce's.
This was the way they were going to take all the nervousness, all those draws, the handful of defeats this season out of the equation. Put Cardiff out of that equation, take the game away from them, which is what they've been able to do. Cardiff, you felt, had one route back into this time, that was to score first. In the moment Kevin Nolan headed in from close range, that plan was torn up. And West Ham have been able to just coast their way.
Yeah. The other thing that Cardiff needed, of course, really, in reality, was probably a clean sheet.
Trying to get that. There's a body in the way by McPhail.
They haven't lost the energy. Collison, good legs, gets forward really well. Henry Lansbury, very similar in that respect.
Gunnarsson. Taylor. Gunnarsson gets it back. Taylor looks for the free kick, which isn't forthcoming. Nottingham sliding in. Play on, says Mike Dean. "50 games as West Ham manager, chalked up by Sam Allardyce today. There have been some lows for sure, but there have been some highs. And this will be right up there. Not just the victory, which is all important, but the manner of it. Peaking at the right time. Miller.
His first shot of the second half. 20 minutes in.
And the promotion was the brief issued from on high. And it might not be done the easy way, along with Reading and Southampton, but as you will testify, Don, if you can do it, it's the best way. A playoff final win.
No question. The only problem you've got, there aren't any guarantees. That's the risk you take.
Apart from shaving a few millimetres off your fingernails and probably a few years off your life expectancy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they've done the first part, West Ham, and they will know that that's all it is. They can't afford to get ahead of themselves, because whoever they face, it's going to be very, very tough at Wembley Stadium.
That's just offside. It's a tight one, Don.
It was a tight one, yeah.
Maybe it's coming to time to wrap the prize assets in cotton wool as far as West Ham are concerned. Movement on the bench. Turner. Whittingham. Nolan. Looks like he may be the next one withdrawn from West Ham. They've already had to take off Jack Collison because of that injury. Lansbury. Baztay. Maybe Nolan's going to sign off in style here. Baztay. Just hang on to it a little bit too long. Angled up towards Carlton Cole. Liam Lawrence.
Is Mike Dean going to book Winston Reid for that? He is.
And clearly you felt that Winston Reid played the man rather than the ball. That's why West Ham pick up their first yellow card of the afternoon. No smiles between Wally Downs and George McCartney as the Northern Irishman prepares to enter the fray. Republic of Ireland international Liam Lawrence can't hold on. There's Taylor. Well, when nerves were still very much in evidence, when they needed to be settled, that man stepped up again. Kevin Nolan with the first goal, the all-important first goal of this second leg. Might not have been the most spectacular he scored for West Ham, but it's right up there with the most important. He'll get a rest ahead of Wembley.
Well, look at the reception he's got. Greatly appreciated.
Green had to readjust and held on to it capably. Dumel. O'Neill. It's a good long break, isn't there, between these semi-finals and the final? A chance perhaps for a little bit of muted celebration before some extensive preparation. Some commiseration as far as Cardiff are concerned.
Recharge the batteries, that's the key. As Kevin Nolan has got an ice pack down there on the bench. And there will be some bumps and bruises and knocks, but as you said, there is plenty of time to be getting over those kind of knocks.
You never know, every manager has tried something differently over the 26 years of the playoffs in terms of the winning formula. Some like to keep it simple, usual training regimes. Some like to go away for some warm weather training. It's been proven one thing, that there's no right way to do it or wrong way to do it. It's all about how you turn up on the big day.
Absolutely.
Whittingham away. There have been 2 big days for Cardiff, and I don't think it's stretching the point to say that they'll feel that we haven't seen the real Cardiff City in either of these semi-final legs.
We're looking at players of fantastic ability, particularly at this level. Wearing a Cardiff shirt, just been almost anonymous in the 2 legs, unfortunately.
And if you were looking at it, you would just say that they're bearing all the symptoms of running out of steam at the end of the season, Cardiff.
I think so. And this is why they really haven't got any energy now. Conceded early. And that really was game, set and match, but just to rub salt into the wounds, Ricardo Vaz-Tate has a rocket past David Marshall. And then the party starts. Probably won't stop for quite a while tonight.
Ricardo Vaz-Tate on the karaoke as well, by the look of things. I'll tell you one thing for sure as well, Don. Cardiff City will be fed up to the back teeth with playoffs.
Well, yeah. They may start to get a bit of a complex about them. That trick of playoff defeats.
Miller. McPhail. McNaughton. Last time had the right bodies in the right place, and here's Gary O'Neill. 2 against 2. West Ham, understandably, in no hurry, in control. Carlton Cole. Lansbury.
Kenny Miller's playing centre-half now. He's running back, last man back for Cardiff. I think that really epitomises what's happened over the 2 legs.
Forced back, bruised almost into submission.
Yeah. I think we're at that stage now, aren't we, where everybody connected with Cardiff just wants the clock to tick by as quickly as possible. That's what it looks like, that's what it feels like.
Reed is forward. Mike Dean's whistle brings the West Ham attack to a premature end.
There are many things that have impressed me over the 2 legs about West Ham United, but one of the things that has really stood out for me is the work rate. It's just been absolutely phenomenal when they've been out of possession.
And this is Taylor getting forward. Hudson's challenge. Corner.
And he's moved forward since George McCartney's come on. This time Hudson does just poke the ball out for a corner.
In front of the Bobby Moore stand. West Ham corner. Whittingham at the near post.
Nearly embarrassed.
Noble. Taylor. It's a pinball inside the box. First person that came off was McPhail. Gary O'Neill in a crumple heap as well.
Caught him flush in the face, hasn't it? Double deflection. Taylor with a cross. Comes off McPhail straight into the face of Gary O'Neill.
That's a nasty one, an unexpected one. Already lost Jack Collison to injury. There'll be a double substitution here by the look of things for Cardiff City. Filip Kiss, the young Slovakian midfielder, is going to come on, and so too Don Cowie. Stephen McPhail off.
Double substitution for Cardiff. Leaving the field is number 9, Kenny Miller.
Kenny Miller comes off.
And also leaving number 37, Stephen McPhail.
Not quite as happy an ending to his last visit here to East London. It's the playoff final, May the 19th, south of the border. North of the border, Hibernian against Hearts contest the All-Edinburgh Scottish Cup final in Glasgow at Hampden Park. Hibs against Hearts, live from 2 o'clock, Sky Sports 4 HD. Might be a trip to the dentist in the couple of weeks between now and that playoff final at Wembley. And the songs ringing around Upton Park will remind him and all those in claret and blue that the job is well done as the clock ticks down towards confirmation of that. The rubber stamping of the ticket to the playoff final. That passport to the riches in all sense of the Barclays Premier League.
Been 11 points it was the difference between these two teams coming into the playoffs, but it's looked like a country mile in all honesty. And West Ham really do look in fine nick going into the playoff final.
Whittaker. Filip Kiss to Hudson. Norton appealing for handball. He's able to keep it going, Whittingham. Reeder's missed it, nearly comes to Cowie. Cardiff appealed for a penalty, they're not going to get it.
It's George McCartney, I think, is the last West Ham defender here, is it? As it's flipped on. It certainly leans into Don Cowie. It's a clumsy challenge, I have to say. Awkward challenge. Don Cowie feeling should have got a penalty for that. Borderline, certainly Mike Dean not feeling that.
Probably about as similar level of claim that Cardiff had in the first half, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Here's Carlton Cole. He's found a way through. And Marshall is there to block the effort coming in from Matty Taylor.
I have to say, there's been the difference, hasn't he? David Marshall, 2 or 3 good saves over the course of the 2 legs.
Who is going to join for West Ham the famous names like Sir Trevor Brooking, who was the last West Ham player to score a Wembley winner. FA Cup final in 1980.
Header? Header?
Header. Martin Cole in there. A blaster from Winston Reid. Cowie. Kiss.
Again, West Ham win the ball high up the pitch and go again. Relentless pressure.
Rastay. Taylor. Oh, the faintest of touches from Carlton Cole at that near post, and it would have been 3.
It's actually too good. Got too much pace on it for Carlton Cole, but again, the movement, the energy, and the execution, first class.
And Kevin McNaughton's withdrawn with 10 minutes to go here. A lot of work with the physios and the fitness team to get him ready for this one. The man who replaced him in the starting lineup for the first leg comes on here, Darcy Blake. Taylor. I know that Tompkins is a threat, and they assign the biggest defender, Ben Turner, to get across that. Here's Don Cowie. Lawrence. Cardiff seeking a consolation. Mason. Lawrence. Very nearly.
Well, I'd say that is probably the closest they've come here today. Gets the ball back and just lets one go. It's a decent strike. Attempts there, too few, just one on target, and that was very, very early in this football match.
All the way back to Marshall. May the 19th, it's an auspicious date in West Ham United's history. It'll be 47 years to the day that they won the Cup Winners' Cup at Wembley. That was 1965. That man, Martin Peters, along with Jeff Hurst and Bobby Moore, in the West Ham team that day. 1860 Munich were the beaten opposition. There's no way for Chris to find out.
No, poor Chris.
Gunnison. Well, Green. And everything he has been asked to do today, he's done pretty effectively.
Absolutely. Been very, very well protected by his teammates. Keep going back to it, but it's that hard work ethic that has been instilled into them. Doesn't have to make it hard for the opposition.
O'Neill. Cole knew it was offside, didn't bother chasing down. Darcy Blake. Bazte. And he's been involved in pretty much all of the episodes of playoff pain that Cardiff have had. A couple of years ago, there was the final defeat to Blackpool. Last season, there was the semi-final defeat to Reading. And this year, it's the semi-final defeat to West Ham United. Carlton Cole milks the applause and makes his way off to get ready for Wembley.
Well, they may not have got a goal in these two legs of the semi-final. He has been an absolute handful. Nice round of applause for him. Rightly so.
I don't think there'll be any accusations of delusion from the West Ham manager to the West Ham fans after this one. They're all on the same message now. They all know that they have one more game to win at Wembley on May the 19th to cement a rare return, bouncing back to the Premier League.
Yeah.
First time of asking. Not many do it, but someone's going to do it this year.
Someone is going to do it this year, yeah. It doesn't matter how they do it either, does it? As long as they do.
The three relegated sides from the Premier League last season are all that remain in the reckoning. Here's Nicky Maynard.
We have to give credit to Cardiff. You know, they could have gone under. Half-time, they're 2-0 down. Remains 2-0. And whilst they haven't threatened really West Ham, they have worked hard and they can hold their heads up high.
It's a disappointment, of course, but it's certainly no shame falling short at the final hurdle.
Oh, they've simply been beaten by the better team. I don't think anybody that has seen these two matches could argue that.
Bazte. Bazte. Noble. Lansbury. The injury to Jack Collison aside, we've just seen him taken to hospital for a precautionary scan on a temporarily dislocated shoulder. It was popped back in, but they'll assess the severity of the injury. That's the only cloud on the horizon for West Ham, who go to Wembley in fine form, find Fethel with everyone up and certainly running. And Nicky Maynard. Oh, well, that's some way to crown it. Nicky Maynard with a superb goal. It's 3 on the afternoon. It's 5 in the tie.
Well, it's a fitting goal to crown what has been an emphatic two-legged victory for West Ham United. Kept hold of the ball for what seemed like an age, and then he holds his run to keep himself onside and unleashes a thunderbolt. We thought Ricardo Bazte strike in the first half may not be bettered. Well, it just has been. Another absolute rocket, and poor David Marshall in the Cardiff goal, absolutely no chance. Oh, didn't he enjoy that?
Well, that's his first Upton Park goal, Nicky Maynard. And it's one he will remember. It's one that means that the celebrations are enhanced even more. And for those West Ham fans who are waiting for the full-time whistle to get to their feet and sing Que Sera, they've thrown caution to the wind. There may yet be another. It's too close to Marshall. Towards Cowie.
Header on target. It's the first shot on target since the very, very early stages of this match, and it's come in injury time. They just haven't been allowed to be very offensive, really, Cardiff.
He's right up there with the record breakers in Championship playoffs in terms of biggest aggregate winning margins. A 5-goal winning margin has never been bettered in the 26 years of playoffs at this level. It's an aggregate.
It has been that emphatic, in all truth, in all honesty. West Ham hit the heights. Now the party can start.
And we'll go all the way at the A12 round the North Circular to the Arch. There has been a lot of talk about the West Ham way. Well, it is Wembley way. West Ham book their place on May the 19th in the Championship playoff final, and they book it with some statement of intent. A 5-0 aggregate win as they bulldoze their way beyond Cardiff City. First damage inflicted in South Wales in the first leg, but the hammer blows delivered here this afternoon on Bank Holiday Monday in the sunshine. Kevin Nolan made it 1-0. Ricardo Vazte just before half-time made it 2. And in added time at the end, Nicky Maynard with his first goal here at Upton Park consigned Cardiff City to more Championship playoff pain. For the third successive season they've made the playoffs. For the third successive season they've failed to make the grade in the playoffs. But after a season of angst and agony at times at Upton Park, it is an afternoon of ecstasy. West Ham on their way to Wembley. Let's get some reaction on the pitch and join Patrick Davidson.
Mark, Kevin, well played. Mark, you're on your way to Wembley. How does that sound?
Yeah, lovely after a hard season, you know. Obviously we just missed out on automatic, and we was gutted. And I think you show by the 2 performances we put in over the playoffs that we really want to go up, and it means a lot to us.
Kevin, there was a theory that 2-0 was a dangerous scoreline to come to this game with. Given that, how important was your early goal?
Yeah, obviously we you know, winning 2-0 away was always a great platform for us, but we knew the tie weren't finished, and we knew that we had to do the business here. And I think, yeah, the goal settled us down, but I thought over the 2 ties, you know, Cardiff can't have no qualms about it. We were a better side, but now, you know, it's the next stage. We'll look forward to Wednesday night and see who's going to be our opposition, but we'll show them the same respect we've shown Cardiff, and we know it's going to be tough, but we're looking forward to it, and a good day out, and hopefully it'll be even better.
As a team, just how well are you playing right now? Is this the best form you've shown all season long?
Yeah, I think over the last 6 or 7 weeks we've been great. I mean, apart from putting the Reading results aside, we've been really consistent and done really well. I know we haven't always got the result we deserve, but performance-wise we've been top-notch. So, but what we've managed to do in the last couple of weeks is start scoring goals, and you've seen that again in the last 4 days. So absolutely delighted.
Mark, do you think the manner of this win sends out a message to your potential final opponents?
Yeah, of course. We've kept 2 clean sheets, we've scored goals, and we've dominated games. And obviously Birmingham and Blackpool will be watching today. They've got obviously a big game tomorrow, and they're both still in the tie, you know, so it's going to be a tough one for both of them. But we're looking forward to it, you know. You can't take away. Look, the support here today is fantastic, and we really need to go to Wembley with a the way we have been playing, carry the form on, and I'm looking forward to going there, to be honest.
And whether it's a good season or a bad season, does it now all hinge on that one huge game?
Yeah, of course. Everyone says it's the biggest game in football. I'm lucky enough to have been involved in one before, and it's a great feeling when you do finally get up. But it's just great feeling now. We deserve it. You know, we deserve it after the 2 games we've played, and I'm sure everyone's looking forward to the trip to Wembley.
Well done to both of you. Your teammates on the pitch, we'll let you go. So Mark's the umpire man of the match. Kevin, do the honours for us.
Mark Noble also voted the Hammer of the Year, features on the front cover of today's programme, and what an important goal that was from Kevin Nolan, and it means West Ham are heading to Wembley. And so Trevor Brooking will be delighted, penny for the thoughts of Russell Brand. We did try to grab him for an interview ahead of the game, but unable to do so. But for Sam Allardyce, it's not been the easiest of rides here at West Ham so far, but certainly a day to enjoy today before the preparations for next Saturday's playoff final begin. So West Ham are there. Who will join them? We'll find out Wednesday night from St Andrews. Blackpool taking that slim 1-0 lead to Birmingham. 7:30 we're underway. Sky Sports 1 HD. And once we're done and dusted then, it is all eyes on Wembley, Birmingham or Blackpool, to take on West Ham in the Championship playoff final. If the Hammers are looking for any good omens, on that day, Saturday, May the 19th, it'll be 47 years to the day the West Ham won the Cup Winners' Cup at Wembley. Toby McAnuff, who knows exactly what it's like to play in a playoff final, or we won't reflect on last year for too long, and Dean Ashton alongside me. We'll get their take on the game when we come back. 2 hammer blows in the first leg, 3 in the second leg. Playoff heartache for Cardiff again, but West Ham are Wembley bound. Well, welcome back to Upton Park, where West Ham have sealed their place at Wembley in emphatic style. Kevin Nolan, Ricardo Vaz-Tey and Nicky Maynard giving them a 3-0 win today to add to the 2 they scored at Cardiff City Stadium on Thursday. Means they win 5-0 on aggregate. They're heading to Wembley for the Championship playoff final next Saturday. We await to see whether it'll be Birmingham or Blackpool who'll be up against them. So what a day for Kevin Nolan. I wonder how Sam Allardyce is feeling. Let's find out now. He's with Patrick.
Sam, for the first time in over 30 years, West Ham are on their way to Wembley. How does it feel to be the man to lead them there?
Well, it's great. I mean, it's not what we ultimately wanted, but now we went into the playoffs and produced two outstanding performances now under the sort of pressure that, well, for most of the season we've probably been under different pressure in the playoffs, but the pressure to go up, and the response of the players, particularly at the away game at Cardiff, to give us a platform, and this performance to top it was terrific as far as I'm concerned. So I'm pleased for all the players, all the staff, everybody concerned with West Ham, fans, you know, co-chairmans, everybody at the moment. We've got a massive opportunity now, over 90 minutes, to try and get into the Golden League, as it were. Not from the money, as my point of view, from where it all happens. And hopefully we can hold it together and give a performance like we did today at Wembley when we get there on the 19th. And it's been, you know, a lot of hard work, but it's paid off today. Handling, like I said, the pressure. The first goal was always going to be important, so we went out and played with the diamond again and tried to get the first goal as quick as we could, and of course it paid off brilliantly for us. And then the 2 goals after that, Vaz-Tey's and Nicky Maynard's end, were, you know, outstanding goals and a thoroughly deserved win for us.
How important is the manner you've achieved this victory in?
Well, very, I think. You know, I think we've controlled both games and been dominant in both games, and tactically, whatever Cardiff had to throw at us, we dealt with today. Whether it be how they played, whether it be the fact they've scored 48% of their goals this year off set plays and haven't scored one against us in the 2 games we've played against them, nullified obviously the biggest chance of them probably scoring a goal. So it's about how we broke them down, though, and the way we did it, and the attitude of the players and the energy of the players, and then ultimately the quality shone through, didn't it?
You've talked at times about the pressure you've been under as a manager, as a squad. How have you dealt with that so effectively in these playoffs? Well,
I think that it's been a long time I've been in the job, and dealing with the pressure was something that, you know, I sort of learnt in the early part by talking to a lot of people about it, and you know, how do you manage it and hold it in between, you know, you internally and how externally you've got to give out the right positive messages to the players. So believe you me, I'm very nervous inside, but can control it in the exterior term and try and help the players be calm and cool and make the right decisions for them if I need to. Today I didn't need to make any decisions for them. They made all the right decisions themselves, I'm glad to say.
Does the whole season, whether it's a success or a failure, now hinge on this one game at Wembley?
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's a big pressure for us, and you know, whoever we get, Birmingham or Blackpool, was probably going to be the favourites again, and I think that we've got to live with that. And like I said, we've got to really produce the best performance we possibly can at Wembley now, and what a fantastic stage to go and play. You know, I experienced it at the Millennium with Bolton, but I was at Wembley on Saturday in the cup final, so I hope the players can look forward to that, soak up the atmosphere and deliver yet another outstanding performance to try and get us where we want to go.
And I must just ask about Jack Collison. You lost him early in that second half. How is he?
Doesn't look good, unfortunately, for us. I think that he just rolled over and I'm told the shoulder popped out. The good thing is it went straight back in again, so we can only hope and pray, because he's been outstanding in the last few games for us, and of course the 2 goals he got at Cardiff gave us this platform to win today.
But everyone else fit and ready for Wembley?
Well, I can't see too many of them want to be injured, can you? I think they'll all be there and they'll all want to be in the frame to be selected. And there's a lot of lads for a while haven't been involved in the squad who've played a massive part in this season, you know, but it is about the squad and about a squad of players that have got us here. But today it's about the players that played and the fact that they excited the crowd and entertained the crowd under such a big game and won comfortably as well.
Thank you, Sam. Well done.
Pleasure.
Thanks very much.
And he sensed in that interview some of the weight that has bore heavily on his shoulders this season lifting. It has been a terrific performance across both legs. They dealt with pressure when they had to, in particular the likes of Kevin Nolan, who opened the scoring for West Ham today. Wasn't an awful lot for Rob Green to do, in truth. Joby McAnuff is alongside me, Dean Ashton as well. Joby, describe what it's like for the players securing a place in a playoff final.
I think relief more than anything. You know, there's a lot of pressure on the game, and you know, it's just nice to know you've come through the first test, but you know, it is only that. You know, there's a massive game ahead, and you know, they can all obviously look forward to a massive game to come.
Trevor Brooking turning his back on Russell Brand, as one or two have done down the years. Dean, as far as the season's performances go, is this as good as it's been from West Ham?
I think so, yeah. I mean, you know, they were so comfortable even in the first leg, the way they went at Cardiff and got that 2-0 lead, and then today just really showed what quality they've got. And like Sam said, it's about a squad, and West Ham have clearly got the best squad, I think, in the playoffs. And I mean, it was great to see Sam there. You know, he has alluded to the fact that there is pressure, and it's a big club, West Ham, and I'm sure he's very relieved and he'll enjoy this, but know that there's going to be, again, big pressure in the final.
Joby, is this perhaps the first time, especially here at Upton Park, I mean, Dean talks about the squad there. It looked terrific on paper, which is why they were pre-season favourites promotion, but the first time we've really seen here at Upton Park West Ham flexing their muscles.
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe, you know, after the disappointment of not getting automatic promotion, it might have actually worked in their favour and taken the shackles off a little bit. And, you know, definitely their last, you know, 4 or 5 games, they've been very good, and, you know, they've scored a lot of goals, and, you know, they look a real threat.
And the only goal was going to be vital today, and it was West Ham who got it as deliveries go. This one from Matty Taylor is right up there, Dean.
Yeah, perfect. It's what you want from set plays, and Matty Taylor, he did that 3-4 times during the match, and it's just so difficult for the keeper. He can't really come, it's so quick, and obviously Kevin Nolan capitalises from a couple of yards out, which good strikers do.
Did you sense at that moment, Joby, that Cardiff deflated after? I mean, they started well like they did Thursday, but once that goal was in, they deflated as a squad?
Yeah, I think, you know, the first goal was always going to be key today. You know, whoever got that, you know, it would give them a massive lift. And I think once West Ham got their nose in front, you know, they got more comfortable and looked very solid. And, you know, I can't remember many chances for Cardiff after that.
I think there'll be a debate about who was the best goal between Ricardo Vazte and also Nicky Mena. Both, of course, brought in January, which just underlines once again the depth of this West Ham squad. But let's do Ricardo Vazte's goal first. How good was this?
Yeah, I mean, it was very good considering the stage of the match, and you know, this is, you know, West Ham went on from this goal. You know, obviously a slight mistake from McPhail, but take nothing away. I mean, that's a fantastic strike. If you hit it as hard as that you know, at and around the keeper, generally it's going to go in, and keeper with no chance because it flashed straight past him.
6 goals in 4 here at Upton Park. How good a bit of business was that getting him in?
Great business, and Nicky Maynard as well. You know, he scored goals at Bristol City, and both young players. You know, for the future, they could be vital, and both showed what qualities they've got.
And Joby, will Nicky Maynard perhaps argue that his goal was a little bit better?
Probably. It was a great strike. You know, I'm sure they won't mind. You know, the main thing was getting the win, but you know, decent build-up, and you know, he's a dangerous player. It was a great run off the back of the defender there, and you know, it's a fantastic finish across the keeper into the top corner, and you know, that's what he's all about. You know, he's you know, a real top player, and you know, I'm sure they're glad to have him in the side.
Do you sense there's plenty more to come from him, whichever level they're playing at next season, Dean?
Yeah, I mean, he came up through Crewe, and he was coming up as a young player when I was there, and talked a lot about as being a potential great striker, and he's shown that going to Bristol City and the way he played there, and then coming to West Ham. I think they have got a great player on their hands, but at the moment, obviously, Carlton Cole's the main man. It's going to be difficult to get in the side with him there.
I wonder whether Cardiff fans at half-time were debating whether or not they should have had a penalty. Kenny Miller was a man at the heart of this appeal. I mean, could it have been given in different circumstances?
I think so. I mean, looking at it from that angle, you know, it's easy for us to probably say. I mean, the ref was obscured a little bit, and I think in a game of this size, he's got to be 100% sure, you know, when he's given a decision, and clearly he wasn't, and just couldn't give it. But
I mean, this is why he can't be 100% sure, because Noble's right in his line of sight.
Yeah, exactly. You can see it there. He's directly in front of him, and you know, as I say, you want to make sure that he knows what he's doing, and he's got a good line of vision before he gives something.
Dean, as we look then towards that playoff final, what kind of shape are West Ham in? What kind of message has this sent out to either Blackpool or Birmingham?
I think both teams, you know, they'll be watching this match, and they'll know that that's probably West Ham getting into their best form leading up to this, and they'll know that even if they get through, that it's going to be one hell of a task to beat West Ham in the final. But you know, playoff finals are very difficult to win, and I think both them sides will be concentrating on this game, but know that West Ham will be favourites. And
there's been a lot of talk across these two legs about the work rate of West Ham, the fitness levels, almost the growing strength that we've seen from this side. How have they managed to do that? Is it just simply they've got into the playoffs, it's given them a new lease of life?
I think so. You know, as I say, I think they have got a boost really towards the end of the season. You know, they've got a fantastic squad. I think they've had a few key players come back in. Obviously, Jack Collison's been in lately and fortunately got injured today. But, you know, they're strong, and you know, I'm sure they're looking to carry that on into the final. It's all about momentum, and at the moment they seem to have it.
Did you sense, listening to Sam Allardyce there, I mean, it's been a tough season for him. He's been criticised a lot by the fans for the style of football, for the way they've gone about their business this season. Did you sense just a little bit that the pressure had lifted, even though there's still a long way to go?
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll really want to prove them people wrong, but you know, you could definitely tell that he's been feeling the pressure, and that it's a big job at West Ham that he's got to do, and I'm sure he's going to enjoy this tonight, but know that he's got a hell of a match to get through. It's
going to be quite a pressure cooker for West Ham at Wembley, and of course whoever they're playing, but given the way they performed across these two legs, does that take some of the pressure off just a little?
I think so, and I think with West Ham, you look through their team, you know, they've got a lot of experience there, a lot of players that have played at a very high level for the duration of their careers, so you know, I think they'd be confident going into it, you know, that they can handle the occasion, and you know, that might prove to be the key.
Plenty more to come from Joby and Dean in just a short while, but it has been a simply terrific day for West Ham, but I'm afraid it is yet more playoff heartache for Cardiff. They're heading home with heavy hearts once again.